Justice James Omotosho of the Federal High Court in Abuja on Monday dismissed the fundamental human rights suit filed by detained leader of the indigenous people of Biafra, Nnamdi Kanu, against the federal government of Nigeria. Kanu, in his suit, is seeking 1 billion naira in damage from the Attorney General of the Federation and Department of the State Services for alleged rights violations. Kanu, in his suit, marked FHC/CS/1633/2023, claimed that the DSS and its Director General violated his rights to a fair hearing by alleged preventing his lawyers from having unhindered interactions with him where he is being detained in the preparation for his defense in his criminal trial. Omotosho, while delivering a judgment on the suit, held that Kanu failed to provide credible evidence to sustain his claim that his interaction with his lawyers were interfered with, that he was denied unhindered access to his lawyers and the DSS officials and dropped on his conversation with his lawyers, which constituted a breach of his right to a fair hearing. On today's edition, we'll be discussing this and many more. Nnamdi Kanu seeking just last week came out to debunk the killings that is happening in the Southeast. Same last week, Nnamdi Kanu comes out to look for a sit out of court or a settlement out of court from the federal government, seeking that the Attorney General and Mr. President has to grant him, a seat, a way out, so they settle the case out of court. And this same week, now Nnamdi Kanu is turning around to sue the federal government for 1 billion of right infringement. On this note now, I want to welcome you to Midday Discourse on Global Television. My name is Samuel Odi, and this and many more would be discussed on today's edition. Wike, the FCT minister, is also having another back and forth now with Tireti here in the federal capital. So all of these are the discussions that we are going to be extracting on today's edition. And before we get in deep, we'll be going on a quick break, and when we come back, I'll be introducing you to my guests who would be extracting all of these and more. Please do stay with us. We'll be right back.
Time check. It's midday. Then it's Midday Discourse. Midday Discourse is a program that covers trending local and international news, current issues, and human-related topics. Join Samuel Odi weekdays 1 p.m. on Global Television. The discussion starts here.
It's time for sports' biggest moments on Global Television. The headlines, scores, breaking news, and commentaries on sporty events. Talking with the biggest players, strikers, and about the slam dunks and goals, stunning saves, near misses, and upsets. Let's talk about the greatest home runs, comebacks, knockdowns, and victories. Talk sports with the king of sports, Anthony Momodu. Weekdays, 10 a.m. Don't miss out.
Hello, children. Gather around, let me tell you a story. Do you know that stories have a way of captivating the minds of children, bringing fun and imagination to teach them morals? Join Sharon Ajay as she takes you to explore the thrilling and exciting world of storytelling.
I'll be sharing with you our next interesting story.
Tune in every Saturday on Global Television, time 5:30 p.m.
is the desk on Global Television.
Nigeria. Come join Anthony Momadou on television's most compelling and facts-finding talk live show.
We are the
Can we not say that of them?
Because
that this country gets it right.
who are these bandits?
It's the Dex on Global Television, where we analyze and dissect storming issues and commentaries in the world's biggest black nation, Nigeria.
Who is being held accountable for this money?
The eyes have it.
We stay and decide policies and reforms on the Dex. Tune in Mondays to Fridays, 5 p.m. to 6 p.m. on Global Television. Let's stay on the Dex.
Many thanks for staying with us, and I'm about to introduce my guest, who is very, very keen and then very, very spot on his analysis. Mr. Joshua Chukwu, good afternoon. It's always good to have you here.
And the pleasure is always mine.
Yes. So we also discussed about Nnamdi Kanu's negotiations and then him wanting, to settle out of court, because obviously it has been long overdue, though he has some arguments saying that he was kidnapped and dragged down to Nigeria by the past administration. But now, since his lawyers have actually gone for this, and then now he is turning around, he is yet to get his request of the settlement out of court. Do you think him turning around and then suing the federal government and the DSS and the Attorney General for $1 billion is the right move?
Well, I wouldn't be right to justify that claim. I believe he has his reasons, or he had his reasons for proceeding with that lawsuit. But at the same time, I don't think it will do him any good. Probably he's just someone now that is fighting from both ends of the game. If this doesn't work out, perhaps this might work out. So I don't really think that that's the right step to have taken. Yes. At
this point, given the fact that, okay, the federal government might be considering, because one of the House of Reps members, visited the former president, Muhammadu Buhari, who turned around to say that he's not going to stand in the way of this administration if they want to settle out of court with Nnamdi Kanu, which looks like a plus, because it's the APC that is in power. So looking at the APC now, do you think this whole turn of reaction now might just give the Attorney General a different thought and say, since you've not learned your lesson, this bill that you're looking for settlement out of court might not be given? Do you think if you were in his shoes, do you think that thought would cross your mind?
I wouldn't really say so, because let's be frank, the charges against the person of Nnamdi Kanu are grievous. Yes. I think they are treasonable charges, and I think there's an inclusion of felony.
And terrorism.
Terrorism, yes. And then coincidentally, when this whole thing was heating up while he was, Nnamdi Kanu, while he was making his broadcast, I was in Anambra State. So I witnessed the kind of reaction. Now, you see lots of persons parked, keke drivers, Okada drivers, motorists, just listening to him keenly. And then I have had the opportunity of listening to this man. I tell you for free that his weddings are really compelling. It will implant into you some seedlings to really be agitated against the government. Well, he has his probably good sides. If you listen to him, you see reasons why he is doing what he did, or he did what he did, right? But at the same time, they were fermenting people against the government, and then planting an irrevocable, if I'm allowed to say that, irrevocable hatred against the incumbent government. So whatsoever is playing out now, I won't be bold enough to say that they would result in change of plan by the APC government towards his release. But at the same time, this is APC in power. They can be tricky. Perhaps they are keeping this man for a right time, and right time within the APC's consciousness is usually election time. So you never can tell what their intention is in still detaining Nnamdi. So
with him now suing this now, that means if you're looking at APC, and then obviously it looks like it's all political. Him being arrested, him being detained for 3 years plus, 3 years now, it's been political. So are you trying to say that if the APCs are going to keep him for the next 2 years now, which obviously the next election will be in the year 2027. If they are releasing him, do you think that they will do that to soften the hearts of those from the southeast?
You never can tell. But speaking from a personal point of view, I'm very sure that most persons within the southeastern part of the country, or let me say eastern part of the country, they're not really impressed with the current APC, not just current, the past and current APC government, the leadership style. So releasing Nnamdi Kanu might not really give them that political edge they might consider or they might think they would have. Right? It would just help in dousing the tension. Maybe Nnamdi might speak, but I'm highly doubtful that he might, or that he would be compelling the Easterners to throw their hearts in the direction of the APC. I doubt that.
You know, negotiations were ongoing, and yet we've not seen the limelight before all of this struck us about, you know, the lawsuit. So the judge now, you know, what Nnamdi Kanu was saying was that he said that the DSS, they didn't give him and his lawyers, you know, a room to have a proper conversation to prepare for his defense, and the meaning they were eavesdropping. That was what the report said. So do you think that this now contributed to the fact that he is still, not forgetting that the court of law have actually granted him bail a few times, and then the DSS decided still to hold him. Do you think these are the reasons why he forged ahead to, you know, sue the federal government, Attorney General, DSS, and now that he's been thrown out of court, he said he's going to go to the Court of Appeal?
Well, the claims by Nnamdi Kanu ranging from the assumed, I use the word assumed because I wasn't there, the claims ranging from assumed eavesdropping to infringement of his fundamental human rights, right? Those claims, I won't be right to prove that they are correct. But I believe if they were correct, perhaps the DSS or the security agencies, they had their reasons. Maybe they just want to be on top of their game, which indeed is against the right to fair hearing, all right? So I don't know, filing that or seizing that as an opportunity or as a reason to sue them, that's just left for Nnamdi Kanu to, what's the right word now, to go on with it. It's just left for him to continue. If those are reasons good enough, then fine, you can proceed.
Okay. You know, the Igbos now have actually been crying and be agitating. That's what Biafra is all about. They've been agitating of saying they have not been given the fair rights to rule their fatherland. That's the brain behind all of indigenous people of Biafra. Since we are not given the fair rights, we want to break out and all. Looking at Nigerian economy now, do you think breaking out and separating this country now is best economically?
I, for one, am not in support of dissolution of the Nigerian state. I believe we can work this out. The problem has always been with the leadership of this country. And then it will be fair to say that the Igbos, categorically, they've been deprived of this ultimate or golden opportunity to be at the helm of affairs of this nation. They are right. How long? The Hausas, are they the best in leadership? Look at the northern states. Are they all doing efficiently? The leaders there. The Yorubas, are they? Look at the Yoruba state as well, are they? So if you give a fair chance to a set of people, why don't you give equal chance to another set? Give them that trial. So they've been deprived, and like I said, I don't think dissolution or separation is the best means. This tussle should be looked at, you know, very well, so the Igbos can actually have their chance as well.
Okay, let's move away from Nnamdi Kanu and the federal government and the court of law. Let's move away from that for a bit. Let's look at Sumuike and Ireti now. What's going on between these two political giants? Let me just read the reports coming. Wike spoke in Abuja on Monday at a flag-off ceremony of the construction of Mabushi Bus Terminal. If we have done well, that's Wike speaking. If we have done well, we have done well. If we haven't done well, we haven't done well. I am proud to say that in the short time that the President, Tinubu, has appointed us, we have done well, Wike said. You said there is no school there and hospitals. You, as a legislator, what have you done? How many bills have you sponsored for us to improve our education sector, education and health sector? I challenge that legislator. If you are very popular in 2027, come and run under Abuja. We will fail you. You think that what happened last time will happen again? It will not happen again. If you are popular, come and run. Come and run. Likely for me, I am the FCT minister now. So here is my territory, and I am not afraid. People should be able to accept the truth. We are not begging for anybody to be our friend. We have so many friends that we cannot even carry along. So how can we beg people to be our friends? We are not interested in that. King Ireti, a member of the Labour Party, defeated Phillips Audu of the People's Democratic Party in 2023 general election. Audu, an ally of Wike, was a senator from 2011 to 2023. Ireti and Wike have not had a good working relationship since they both assumed office respectfully. The lawmaker has reportedly accused Wike of sidelining her despite being the senator representing the FCT. Both politicians have recently lashed out at each other on various occasions. Wike said Ireti's anger stemmed from his consistent companionship with Audu and because she was not appointed as the state chairperson of the committee of FCT. In September 2023, Ireti said Wike did not have the executive powers to threaten to demolish of illegal buildings in the territory. In January, the lawmaker claimed that Wike had refused to respond to her letters and messages aimed at raising insecurity in Nigeria. The senator also claimed that Wike did not have the interest of the FCT at heart, claiming that residents were battling water scarcity and other challenges. Now, these two politicians, that is Wike and Ireti, they've been going head to head. Most of all of these claims now from Ireti all came from last year. All of this has started building since it was announced that Wike was the FCT minister. She kept saying that he is always sidelining her and not carrying her along. And she made a statement saying that he does not have the powers as a minister to say a certain area or some kind of demolitions would happen in this Federal Capital Territory. Do you think she's right to say that?
You know, I wouldn't sit here and then assume the respective job descriptions of these politicians. One was appointed, the other was elected.
Elected, yes.
So I believe the best know who has the right to do whatever. I will just leave them to that, right? If Ireti feels Wike does not have that power, political power to mark a building as illegal and then proceed to demolish, then probably there's a proper committee. She should take that up, and then a live broadcast would let the citizens know what's going on, right? So I wouldn't say that Wike has that right or not, because I'm not really within their caucus.
Okay, now, the main striking thing is that he said, well, if you think you are popular, come and run again in 2027. This is not the first time Wike is making a statement like this, but this time not to Ireti, obviously. The first time he made this statement was in Rivers State when his tussle started with his, would I say, former ally or former boy that he literally said he put in office, that is Governor Sim Fubara of Rivers State. He mentioned that in the next coming election that he is going to dethrone Fubara. Now he's making the same statements. What do you think gives him that, power, given the fact that he has been one of the founding fathers of the PDP and he has been in politics for a very, very long time?
You know, if one was looking for a perfect definition of arrogance, there you go, all right? Yes, that's just it. Because, the essence of political leaders is to work conjointedly to ensure that goals are achieved. It's not something, even if you want to engage in comparison, right, you do that in a healthy state. Wike was arrogant there. He was not appointed, not elected. I believe if it was an election, I'm sure he won't win, because most persons don't like his form of leadership. He's a flyover governor. Maybe you can call him the infrastructure governor. He builds infrastructure and all that. But that shouldn't give you that level of arrogance to speak so low of an elected minister. And I even apportion blame to the National Assembly, Wike is long overdue to be called to order, all right? He's long overdue, all right? Now, you coming out because you're commissioning a motor park and then you feel you've done all, that's arrogance. Let your work speak for you. Not he talks too much. That's just he talks too much. Commission whatever you want to commission and then move out. You don't have to talk down on someone that was duly elected. And then he needs to be reminded that Abuja residents are not fearful as Rivers State. You don't come here to exert your act of thuggery. You are not the one to ensure, fine, INEC is compromised. I'll be bold to say that. But don't think it will always go in the way of INEC. We are residents here. People are residents in Abuja. If they feel Ireti has done well, I'm certainly sure that she would be put back into that position, Wike or no Wike.
Okay. Let's look at track records now. You know, Wike has obviously been a local government chairman, has been a minister before he became a governor for 2 tenures. Do you think all of this, of his political backgrounds, because he also played politics in school, so do you think all of these political backgrounds has made him so rooted in politics that he feels he can maneuver every, loopholes and then be able to alter statements like this? You know,
I want to bring you back to 2 words you mentioned, feels and then maneuver, all right? Whatever Wike has is a feeling. And then he believes he has the political power of the APC, especially now that they are the incumbent government. Well, a feeling would not always result in an intention. Maybe his intention is to ensure a total ousting of Ireti. It might just end up as a feeling that would never materialize. All right? That would never materialize, sorry. All right? Now, whatever position he may have occupied, even if it's from his primary school, shouldn't give him that tenacity to make such utterances. If we feel you've done well, if election is actually done in Nigeria, we would elect you again. Not you selecting yourself and then think, okay, because you've been a god or a demigod right from your political journey, therefore you can do and undo without any recourse or without any repercussion. No, it won't happen. It shouldn't happen.
Okay.
Right.
Okay, looking at the track record so far since he assumed office, Ireti also made a mention of the fact that there was a few times that the water was scarce in Abuja in some areas, and again the constant increase of crime, basically one chance in the city. She made mention that she reached out to the FCT minister, Mr. Wike, and he did not respond to her in that light. Do you think that all of these things now are part of a plan for her to be able to have an edge and then get elected if she runs again for next tenure?
Well, I believe the person of Senator Ireti Kingigbe, I don't know if I called the name right, right? I believe if she indeed wrote those letters calling the attention of the FCT minister, that's a good deed, right? And if those letters, I believe, were honored and then actions were taken, proper actions were taken, it's a plus to her, not just her, but the person of the FCT minister. So her writing that letter could be a way of placing herself within the goodwill of the people of the FCT residents, right, in case of the next election, all right? So I think she did those to act as expected. But at the same time, we are all humans. If you feel undermined, if you're not carried along, especially when you're expected to be carried along, you feel bad. You feel bad. And I think I watched that a broadcast where she said she's been undermined, she's not being carried along, and that's a sad thing to hear. Yes.
That's actually a sad thing to hear. But before we go deep more about these conversations, we would be going on a very quick break, and then when we come back, Midday Discourse continues.
Global Morning is your ultimate destination for engaging political and economic matters. I am Uyi Agmofwebe.
And don't forget to include social discussions. Tune in every weekdays from 7 a.m. to 10 a.m. I am Queen Agaba.
For insightful breakfast ideas, business summaries, sports highlights, international and local news perspective, I am Anthony Momodu.
Don't miss the in-depth analysis of current and political issues by the Global Morning team and experts. I am Jumai Manson.
Catch Global Morning here on Global Television. Getting on the action. I am Edikan Michael.
We are
the Global Morning team.
For an insightful idea that takes the center stage and the conversation that gets beyond the headlines, to explore the lasting impact of political decisions, Big Talk got you covered. From policy debates to geopolitical insights, from thought-provoking discussions to actionable insight.
What is the real responsibility of government?
Big Talk delves deep into the heart of the matter. Join us weekdays on Global Televisions from 6:30 p.m. for a reverting journey into the heart of politics, where we dissect issues shaping our society.
With every government and introduction of new policies, businesses of all kinds and sizes.
Thanks for staying with us. And if you're just joining us, this is Midday Discourse on Global Television. My name is still Samuel Odi. Yes, that will not change anytime soon at all. So we've been having conversations about Wike and Ireti, and then we've also been having conversation of Nnamdi Kanu and the Attorney General, DSS, and the Court of Law, because Nnamdi Kanu is saying his human rights were, infringed, and Wike is saying he's going to dethrone someone else aside someone that is in his state. So I don't know. Wike is a very, very strong politician. Everybody know that. And I feel that is what is giving him the power. He's someone that is in Abuja and then he's still causing havoc in Rivers State with the current local government chairman that their tenure has expired, who are refusing to leave office, despite the fact that the state governor has, created a caretaker committee. Not forgetting and not looking away that 21 states in Nigeria, the local governments are actually being run currently by caretaker committees. With all of this information now, how do you think this will play out, the election in 2027? That's both in Rivers State and here, given the fact that you feel or you think that the INEC are not independent as they claim to be?
Okay, let me start with that of Rivers State. I believe it's going to be a case of the incumbent governor against political godfatherism, right? And
but do you think Fubara might decamp just to prove a point?
Decamp to which of the parties now?
Probably turn it to an APC state.
I'll be like walking into the lion's den. I wouldn't even support him to do that, because the person that is posing a threat to him now is working in synergy with the APC government.
Okay.
So I really don't know if he's assuming that if he joins or decamps to the APC,
but he's going to get the ticket.
The presidency might support him. I don't think. If Fubara stands a chance to win this battle, he should ensure that the good people of Rivers State enjoys the dividends of democracy. If you feed the people well, trust me, they will fight for you with their life. They will, with their lives, they will. Just ensure that the people are seeing your good work. Then fine, I know it's going to be tough, but that's just the best bet he has at this point. Then on the case of the FCT, I believe, or I would want to believe, that the FCT residents are highly intelligent. In the last election, I was speaking with a couple of persons. You wouldn't believe that as at 2 a.m., they were still in a queue waiting to vote.
Yes.
And then they voted their choice. We didn't really experience much of thuggery in this exposed part of the FCT. We didn't. So Wike should not think that his powers, his assumed power in Rivers State is or can be dominant here in FCT. No. He will receive the shock of his life. So Ireti, if she stands a chance to be returned, elected, then she should try as much as possible to fulfill her manifestos. Yes.
Okay, fulfilling her manifestos is key. You know, some persons have said that when Wike was a local government chairman and one of the founding fathers in the early 90s of, I think around 98, of PDP, that Ireti was nowhere close to politics at that point. Do you think that is going to give him an edge above her? And then, though he is not going to be running for election in the FCT, I think the way he sees it, he's going to be the FCT minister for the next 8 years, or maybe, because we all know that he has ambitions of being president, which he has not come out publicly to say, but from the past election, him contesting for the tickets with Atiku Abubakar gave us a glimpse that he has bigger dreams to be the president of this country. So do you think the fact that he has been in the political scene, let's assume longer than Ireti, is an avenue for him to be able to dethrone her?
Well, with all due respect to Wike, I give it to him that he's really been long in Nigerian politics, but at the same time, if he likes, let him be the Methuselah of Nigerian politics. It doesn't matter, all right? It doesn't matter. Now, he being there would not stand as an edge over Ireti. It's your workings that show. And then talking about an assumed aspiration towards the presidency, I speak for myself. I wouldn't even want to imagine the presidency of Wike. I wouldn't. With things that are going on, things we've seen in Rivers, no. You don't calm terrorism by being a terrorist. I'm not saying he's a terrorist, but there are much more diplomatic approaches of which I feel he has neglected from time to time. All right, so talking about his longevity within the political space, the Nigerian political space, I don't think that gives him an edge. And then I tell you for free, most persons are not really okay with his manner of approach towards some things. Of course, you being in the political space gives you that, should I say, exposure. You're representing the good people of Nigeria. You can do better. Even if you want to condemn some things, you can just do better. You're an office holder, a national office holder, for goodness sake. Don't just come and then talk down on people and then you dance with your weird way of dressing. It doesn't make any sense. I speak for myself on this.
Yes. Well, let's look at how do you think INEC now should react given this statement? Because one, he did not say it just once. He said it twice. Said it in Rivers State and now said it boldly in the FCT. How do you think the INEC should react? How do you think they should prep up, starting from the elections that will be happening in Edo and Ondo, respectively?
I'm sorry, Mr. Samuel. The right question could have been, I'm just giving a guess, a personal guess. The right question could have been, can INEC react? That's it. Can they? I don't know if you're well informed now. I think the people of Edo, the good people of Edo, they've been reporting now that about 4,000 beavers have been damaged because of flood.
Yes.
Now, I'm just thinking about this.
Yes.
Why would you even expose the beavers to where would be damaged by an assumed rain if actually there was a damage? All right. Why? Now, Edo State election, is it not in September?
Yeah.
Okay, we are in July.
Yes.
If INEC is really independent, they can provide these things and then get them replaced. But like I mentioned earlier, the right question could have been, can INEC really be? That's just it. So I don't think INEC can do anything. Though they can, but I wouldn't know if they would want to come out boldly and then say the will of the people surmounts a personal interest. If an assumed elected officer does well and then the people revoted for him, I'm sure the vote will. If they can do that, then fine. Maybe some persons might believe them, because I know before the start off of the 2023 election, they came out, even went to Chatham House to make all claims and then, but what's happened? All right, so I don't think INEC can actually do anything.
So their readiness now, okay, doubtfully, you feel they are not totally ready for the coming election in the next 2 months?
It's not about readiness. It's about neutrality. It's about being unbiased. It has never been about readiness. With INEC, with Yakubu, it has never been about readiness. It's about being being fair, being true and sincere to the goodwill of the people. That's what they are totally lacking. And then if I want to borrow your word readiness, they are not ready to get those, should I say, unbiased nature towards election. They are not ready.
So this is a call for INEC. Get ready and be unbiased as you always say you are. So let's just hope that everything pans out well. But now, these 4,000 plus PVCs now that have been damaged now, it's all obviously going to determine, the strength and then the power of what is going to happen in the elections, because a whole lot of voters now, 4,000 is a very large number, a whole lot of voters now would not be able to get the right to vote if those cards now are not replaced. So now this also boils down to the fact that some persons might have the ability to be able to decide or determine how this election goes. So this is a call for Yakubu and his entire team to find a way and settle all of this quick enough. So now let's go back to Nnamdi Kanu. Nnamdi Kanu was same person that is speaking about, out of court, through his lawyer, out of court settlements. With this recent lawsuits now, and then the fact that he's planning to appeal for this, how do you think the whole judicial system should handle this?
This case, I don't know, there's an adage that says if justice is delayed, it means maybe the guilty has a person in the court or something like that. I'll be very sincere with you. I can't tell you, even if I give suggestion, my own personal opinion, it won't be honored. It won't. I don't know how best this should be. Man, get this guy up there. If you want to sentence him, do it. If you want to let him go, do it. Don't just incarcerate him. For what? To what end? At this point, it's no longer making sense. We are now like justice ought to be quick, swift. You are keeping someone for 3 years. What are you judging? Did he offend angels? If you want to condemn him, let me not use the word condemn. If you want to sentence him, 3 years imprisonment or whatsoever, be quick with it. Let him know his fate. This elongation is totally unnecessary.
Do you think the DSS are behind? Because, the court of law has granted him bail more than, I think, like twice or thrice, but the DSS still, did not let him go. Do you think the Attorney General has a hand in the fact that, okay, all the DSS director is not just agreeing or paying attention to the law, because everybody, even Mr. President himself, is subjected to the law. Do you think the DSS are going against the law by not granting him a bail and allowing him to go?
Yes, that's a dent on the judicial system. Since he's been granted bails with conditions, if those conditions are met, then let him be, let him go. So the DSS going against that is actually a dent on the nation's judicial system. Yeah,
part of the conditions are he wouldn't be able to leave the country. Obviously, they have his passport since the arrest happened. So that means the judicial system now are not. Do you think the judicial system are not totally upholding the law and then seeing through to the judgments that is being passed by them?
Now, the duty of the judicial system is to pronounce a judgment. I don't think it's a prerogative to enforce that judgment. Now, when a judgment is pronounced, it's left for should I call them the state authorities, now the police or whosoever, to adhere to the judgment.
Okay.
And it's now
whether it's favorable to them or not.
Exactly.
Yes.
And now it's now a wonderful thing that those that are supposed to enforce the judgment of the judiciary are the ones now going against it. So this thing is dicey. It's about the Nigerian state. I wouldn't want to say that the judicial system is failing. I wouldn't want to say that, but at the same time, it's glaring for all to see.
Okay, so that means you feel that this is totally political. That's why all of this back and forth keeps going.
I wouldn't want to categorically say that it's political, but at the same time, it's giving me thoughts. I mean, what are these people concerned. Let me not use the word scared, but what are they concerned about the release of Nnamdi Kanu? What's their concern? Because if I say fear or scared, it might be too great a word. But what's their concern? All right? Is it that they believe if he goes out again, he's going to continue? I don't just know.
You know, because him being locked up doesn't even stop the killings that has been happening in the Southeast, though he has come out a couple of times to debunk that and said he is totally not in support of that, and that is not the philosophy of the IPOB. So, you know, time is actually running out on our side, and this conversation is not something we could just, you know, rush out. So, do you think the DSS are holding him basically because of those killings that are happening?
I wouldn't say it's because of the current killings. It's, you know, there are reasons why they are called charges. It means they've happened before, right? So he actually, his statement instigated a whole lot of chaos, right? I remember one, I will burn down Nigeria, if you don't let my people go. So for those charges against him, that's what the DSS is upholding. But at the same time, since the law has granted him bail with conditions, they should honor the tenets of the law and then let him be for now.
Okay, please give us your final take on this conversation so far about Nnamdi Kanu, if this was a right move for him to make, given the fact that he's seeking an out-of-court settlement.
Okay, well, okay, I don't know.
And then the fact that he's suing them while he has not gotten his out-of-court settlement. Is it not more like him shooting himself in the leg?
I wouldn't want to say that, but like I mentioned earlier, I think with this, you would say Nnamdi Kanu is just fighting for both ends. If this side doesn't work, maybe this side can work. Now, imagine if he wasn't released, but he won the 1 billion naira suits. I mean, the money would go to whatever project he has at hand, all right? He has won there while he's losing there. So I won't say he's actually shooting himself in his foot, but at the same time, he's just trying to see every possible means where he stands to gain a thing. But if I would suggest, since bail has been granted with condition, they should honor that. And also, they should be quick with this judgment so the young man knows where his fate is.
Yes, okay. Thank you so much, Mr. Joshua Chukwu, for joining us on today's edition. It's always a pleasure to have you here. And that's how much time would permit us to take today on Midday Discourse as we wrap up. So we'll see you all tomorrow with another exciting edition of Midday Discourse. My name is Samuel Odi. Hydrate yourself. And I'll see you tomorrow. Good afternoon.